Alright, good morning guys. So, this is a video I've been waiting to make for a little while, and here's why. Money. But today we are going to take our old SD80 sand filter, and that's going away. And then we're going to put in its place a Pentair Clean and Clear Plus 420 4 cartridge filter. Why? Why am I doing that? I'm doing it because, well, I want to. Honestly, it's kind of what it boils down to. So my Pentair IntelliFlow pump, that Boss pump that I've been touting pretty much since I put it in, really was never truly designed for its full potential to work with that SD80. It's got an upper limit of 75 gallons per minute for the sand filter, and so more recently I've actually been getting a lot of sand back in the pool. Yeah, I have the upper limit of the RPMs limited, but I kind of want to use it to its full potential, and by going with a larger cartridge filter, I should save myself some cleaning time with that cartridge filter, so hopefully maybe once or twice a season. We'll see. You know what? It all sounds good in post, but we'll see. And then, recently we had some chemical issues, mostly related to some heavy rains, and somewhat related to this guy right here maybe not doing exactly what he should be doing. So we're also going to upgrade to a Circupool RJ60 Plus saltwater generator. Now, both of these items were pretty expensive. The Clean and Clear Plus cost me $1,200, and then the Circupool saltwater generator system cost me about $1,700. But it's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I've already actually put the salt in the pool, so we've already loaded it to the correct parts per million. I did that yesterday. Today is all about taking this old sand filter out, which I don't think is going to be the hardest job, but I also don't think it's going to be the easiest job, just getting 350 pounds of sand out of it. Installing the new cartridge filter, and then installing our Circupool system. We'll see how it goes. I think it should be pretty easy. I'm a little kind of annoyed that I'm going to tear apart some of the plumbing that I just did. I probably should have done this right on the front end back in like February when I did everything else. Guess what? Hindsight's 2020, so here we are. Gonna make a great video out of it, but it's not exactly the most convenient thing. And it is gonna be super hot today, so I really want to be floating in that pool. Unfortunately, sometimes you gotta make some sacrifices, so that's my sacrifice. It's gonna be about 90 today and like 100% relative humidity. I put old Skipper in the pool here. If you haven't heard, that is the name of our pool cleaner. He's gonna get in there and he's gonna clean up all the debris that's left over from putting all the salt in there last night. Anyway, stay tuned. Should be fun. Well, this is step one, guys. I got the filter kind of taken apart. She's draining right now. And one of the things I found out is if I had to have changed the sand in this thing, which, you know, sometime down the line I would have, 5 to 7 years, hopefully, maybe sooner, I had to take off the multi-port valve, which is obviously missing right here. One, this thing's filthy. Filthy. I mean, it's pretty gross in there. But two, the knucks that put this thing together when they installed the pool cross-threaded both bolts. So this clamp was never going to come off. Actually, the stainless bolt snapped finally after I messed around with it for about 20 minutes. And I just pried the thing off. So if this sand filter's still good, which we'll find out. If you don't know how a sand filter works, this pipe connects to what are called laterals, which are just basically fingers with holes in them of pipe that the water actually moves through. If one of those laterals is broken, then that might be one of the reasons why I was getting sand back in the pool. I don't know yet. We'll find out when we take it apart. But yep, if I want to sell it, I'm going to have to buy a new ring because I can't give that to the next owner because it's unusable. Real pain in the you-know-what. So, goodbye. Next up, we're going to get the shop vac out, and we're going to go ahead and try, and I do mean try, to vacuum out the sand that's in there. I don't know if it's going to go that well. I have a feeling it's not. Seen it done on TV, so, you know, what the heck. It's got to be doable. One thing I did do was I made sure when I cut these pipes out, I saved enough stub of pipe so that somebody can reuse the unions that are on there, and they don't have to buy new ones. Just something that I was thinking about. I'm trying to get a little bit of money out of this thing. Couple $100 maybe. We'll see. All right, she's out. I don't know, I guess that took me about half an hour. I don't know, plus or minus, I didn't really time it, but basically used the shop vac, as you saw. Suck as much out as I could. Pick it up, dump it over in the dump cart, and then just kept doing that until it was out. Got down far enough and I was able to get the riser out, and this is actually a pretty cool design. I've seen these sand filters where they just fold up and you have to fold each one up this way in order to get it out of the tank, but these just have a twist lock and you pop them off one by one and the riser comes right out. Good news, well, I guess good news, I don't have any broken laterals, so that wasn't the issue. I think I was just overpowering it with the pump and it's just too much for it. I didn't want to throttle it down anymore because I would have lost some suction there and filtration. So this is the right move, but outside of that little collar issue from the previous installer, if I can replace that, I might actually be able to get a couple $100 for this thing. So we'll clean it up later. That's for another time, but for now, it's out of the way. So this is the CircuPool RJ60 Plus. Lots of words, lots of words, lots of words. But why did I choose the CircuPool RJ60 Plus? Well, it was available. So anybody that knows about the chlorine shortage knows that alternative methods of sanitation are, in fact, difficult to come by. But plenty available. So they had this one on sale on discount saltpool.com, I think, for the price of the RJ45. So 45 being 45,000 gallons, 60 being 60,000 gallons, and I chose the biggest one I could get. This thing has a 7-year cell warranty on it, and it doesn't have a penalty for homeowner install, so it'll carry that full warranty for the system for 7 years. I'm sure there's a proration there. I have no doubt on the cell, but point being, the Pentair system I was looking at, I was either looking at the IntelliChlor or the iChlor. Either one of those I couldn't get, but they would have worked with my automation system. But this one's just better from what I've read. I read some reviews, did some research, if you will, and came up with that, you know what, I really don't need the automation because this thing's going to do what it's supposed to do once I get it dialed in. So this is what we're going to be installing today, and it was probably one of my most expensive options. I haven't seen too many that were more expensive than this, but I figured, you know what, you only live once, and I'm trying to make this thing as easy as possible. So what we're going to do first is we're going to install this power supply unit, and I just want to do that before I get the cartridge filter set so that I have some working room, because it's got to go on the wall. I don't have a lot of space to work with back there. Starting to run out. Wish I had a plan better, but that's the goal anyways. We'll just get this power supply mounted and then I'll start working on the cartridge filter. So this is how this thing comes. It just comes with a pigtail, and it's designed, at least by their instructions, to go into a strainer leaf. I guess you could probably swap this out for a standard plug, but this is wired from the factory for 240 volts. You can change it over to 110 and wire it off of another circuit if need be. I'm going to keep it at 240 volts, and I'm just going to piggyback off of the pump wiring because this is a 20 amp breaker. The pump only pulls like 9 amps. This thing is max 1 amp. So it's actually one of the recommended ways to install it and wire it up according to the instructions. And that way, whenever the pump gets turned off, as far as the power source, there's no way that we can actually have generation of chlorine, or at least energizing of the chlorine cell, even though the flow switch should prevent that. But get this thing buttoned up and carry on. Okay, so this is the Pentair CCP 420 Clean and Clear Plus 420 cartridge filters. What does that mean? it means that that is 420 square feet of filter material in that big old canister right there. So what I have to do, I think that's where she's going to sit. Never mind the remnants of some of the old plumbing here. I'm still working on cutting some of it out. I think what we're going to do is keep the plumbing fairly compact over here, and then the outlet I will bring out and tie back in to this pipe back here. And then as far as our return back to the pool, that's actually where I cut it from the heater bypass valves. It'll come back around and it'll tie in here. I'm going to make up a dummy cell for my old chlorinator right here. That way, if something happens, since I've already got the unions there, I can go ahead and pop that chlorinator back in if I have to take the saltwater generator down for any reason. So no sense in getting rid of it, as it's only, what, 3 months old? But nice to have it as a backup just in case I need it. And then I think the salt cell, once I'm ready to put it in, is going to sit right in that pipe area right there. You need a little bit of clear space for the flow switch before that, so about 10 inches of pipe. So I should be able to get that, and then it'll come out and go back into the pool over here. So that's the plan anyway. I'm not going to film all that because it's going to just burn up memory in my camera. But more importantly, I really don't think you care. It's a lot of cutting pipe, gluing pipe, and putting things together like an erector set. I will show you what it looks like afterwards, and we'll talk about it some more. Like I said, I come back when everything's done, and it took a while because it's hot out. And I took my time because lots of plumbing changes. So let's kind of go over it from start to finish. Not much changed over here coming into the pump, but coming out of the pump, obviously a lot had to change going into the filter. So I did install this Hayward three-way valve because a cartridge filter does not have a waste function. So if you want to take water out of your pool, you'll either have to use a pump or come up with something else. So I just put in this three-way valve, which will bypass the filter and send the water straight out my drain line. Incidentally, I ran out of an elbow, so I really couldn't complete that. But whatever, going into the pump, or rather the filter, there she is. Yeah, it takes up a lot less space. Pretty happy about that. Comes out of there. Had to duck down underneath the intake for the pump. All this remained the same, but all this is new. So basically from that leftmost valve over here coming through, there's our new saltwater chlorinator, which is actually running right now, and it's running at its low flow state for the lowest flow I have on this pump set. So still producing, which is good. Put the flow switch, gave it the recommended 12 inches of pipe beforehand. Comes in, and then yeah, there's my little dummy cell that I put together for my chlorinator. If I ever have to take everything apart, like I said, and I need to chlorinate the pool for a couple days, I can put that thing back in there because it's the same size, and I'll be able to do that. And yeah, it goes back into the returns. Nothing crazy there. There's our control box. It looks just fine hanging there. Nobody will ever see it. And then, yeah, the one thing that the manufacturer said, that if you're using a variable speed pump, make sure that the chlorinator itself actually hangs down, and I think that's for flow, so they don't have to pump up and over the cells. It'll pump down and across the cells. So we'll see. Pool hasn't been running. I had pool cleaner in there twice now to clean up the bottom of the pool. So right now I'm getting ready to bump it up to its full flow state and get it circulating because it's been a while. No, that shouldn't matter, but to me it does. Anyway, I'll be back to clean things up in a few short minutes. Well, it's a hot day. So what better way to end a hot day's work than getting in the thing that you just worked all day for? So we'll see how it goes. I will monitor the chlorine production of the salt cell. I will monitor the clarity of the pool and see how this new cartridge filter is working compared to the old sand filter, and I'll let you know if any problems come up. I hope they don't. I did have one leak in a pipe that I had to fix, something small. Don't know how that happened. But anyway, so this is it. I'm going to sign off for tonight. I'm beat. Time to go cook some steaks and drink some beer. As always, stay classy. I'll see you later.